Yo, what it is, everybody, and thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. We got the HYPERMOTARD here behind me, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. Now, obviously, here at ECMA last week, Ducati talked about the new HYPERMOTARD that came out. Now, keep in mind, the one that's behind me, the one that I've acquired, mine is a 2018. This one didn't come out as a refresher not too long ago. I mean, we're not talking about the color or anything. We're talking about the 939 versus the previous model. But we're going to talk about the new one, which is 2019 or 2020. I'm not 100% sure. But the new HYPERMOTARD, that's the 950, or yeah, 950. That's going to replace this bike as the outgoing model and the new one coming in. So let's here look at my bike, and you'll be able to see the differences, obviously, between the old one and the new one. And I'll put some some photos here up on the screen of the new one. Y'all already seen mine many times, so you already know what this one looks like. Now I've debadged mine and stuff like that because that's just what I like. I like the clean white look and such like that. But you can obviously see a big difference in the engine exhaust design and how it goes up more so into the tail. I do like the fact that the new bike has a bigger motor. It's got a couple more horsepower, some more torque. So more horsepower and more torque is always great. Now keep in mind, this is kind of like, this is Ducati's version of a supermoto. But keep in mind, a supermoto is usually a dirt bike with street tires, like a CRF 450R or something, and then we slap some street tires on it, and now it's a supermoto. Now, the Hondas, the Husqvarnas and stuff like that, they make 50, 60 horsepower and such like that, but they make it usually on one cylinder. This bike is obviously a V-twin and makes over 100 horsepower, and so it's almost double the horsepower. But keep in mind, this bike is also almost double the weight of a traditional style dirt bike. Your standard dirt bikes can't do 150 miles an hour, where this bike, I've already had this bike at 150 miles an hour. Now, it was a little sketch, absolutely, because this bike wasn't designed really to do 150, but can it do it? And it moves out a hell of a lot faster than a traditional style dirt bike. So there's a big difference in the type of riding and such that you want to do if you're going to buy the HYPERMOTARD versus convert your dirt bike into a supermoto. Now, this is obviously designed more for the street. The dirt bike is designed obviously more to stay in the dirt that you're kind of putting on the street. And it's, kind of the same reverse role effect here for this bike. So you just kind of have to keep in mind, I don't necessarily think that one's better than the other. You just have to keep in mind what's going to work best here for your application. But back here to the 950 versus this 939. Now, the one thing that I really do like about the new one is the new gauge display, and it comes with a new TFT gauge display. Now, even when I test rode this, before I bought this bike, one of the first things that I said on it, I said, this bike is cool, this bike is tall, and I said, man, that's a shitty display. And it kind of is a shitty display given kind of what the bike is. It's a Ducati. Come on, you're supposed to be like, the bee's knees, the shit at everything, and it's just not on this bike. Now, it tells you everything that you're supposed to do. Now, you can call me being bougie, you can call it whatever, but I want the color display. That's what I like, that's what I want. But we didn't get it with this one, but they obviously listened to some of the things that we wanted to move up with the times, and it is on the newer bike. Given that this bike here, I've had this bike for some time now, I've put a good I financed this bike along with my 959. I got a sick deal from obviously Ducati Financial with some promotion rates. So definitely when they run those promo rates, you want to check those out. I got it at 0%, so I didn't have to pay any interest for the entire duration of the loan. And this bike here is pretty much almost paid off. I have no reason to go sell this bike when it only has, I think this bike, I just saw it. It only has 700 miles on it, so it's practically brand new. All the riding and everything that I've done on this bike, you've seen pretty much in my moto vlogs. So I don't feel that given a couple extra horsepower, a couple suspension and chassis tweaks and stuff like that, absolutely that you're going to get with the next evolution of each model. But for me to start all over again, it's just not enough here for me on this one. But I will definitely go be checking it out, looking at it, because the old me would have been definitely a little bit, you can call it dumber. But like, oh, you got to get the latest one. It's the new one coming out. I got to have the latest shit. Absolutely. Well, again, when I didn't have to pay any interest on this one, I got a smoking deal on it. I got at the dealership that I currently bought this from. I couldn't pass it up. So now for me to go obtain another loan or even to buy it in cash to start all over and take the hit on this thing, it's just not feasible for me to do that. So do I think that the bike is enough for someone that's coming from the previous model as an upgrade? Absolutely, yes. I think it's a hell of an upgrade. To come from this one to go to that one, I don't necessarily think so, but I really do like the new upgrades and the styling and the subtle changes that the new one did come out with. But for me, on this one, I think I'm going to have to pass on this one. I'm going to enjoy this one and enjoy some of the things that I currently have on this one. And then maybe when the next one comes out or something like that, or maybe if I just don't ride this one or list it for sale, then I miss it. Maybe I'm going to get the next one. But for right now, I love this one. This one crosses off all the things on it that I need for it to do as far as a supermoto, and I can't complain. So for me, this one's going to be a skip. I really do like it, but for right now, it's definitely going to change. But overall, I think Ducati did a great upgrade to what the bike needed. The display, some suspension changes with the SP, the exhaust changes, some styling with the bike. And you really think that you couldn't get a better styling of this bike than what it already is, because I gotta say, it's gotta be the best looking supermoto that's out there. I mean, shit does look awesome. So, and the new one even looks better. So absolutely. Could you tell a difference between both of them? Well, if you're a bike connoisseur like myself and a lot of others watching, absolutely, I think that you could. But if you don't have them side by side, you probably would never be able to tell the difference between this model and obviously the next generation up. But again, great job, Ducati, to the upgrades. This one's just not for the speed bug, and we will catch it here on maybe the next iteration of the next Hypermotard that comes out. So I hope you guys like what you saw. Again, don't forget to subscribe, Instagram, Facebook, at the Speed Bug, same name here as YouTube, and we will check you here for another episode here on the Speed Bug channel. Deuces.